it sounds like a bumper sticker, but I have the best job in the world. I have the best job in America. That's for sure.
Step into the Pressure Lab, brought to you by Head First, the Philadelphia Union Foundation's mental health initiative. Here, we believe mental fitness is as important as physical fitness. You train your body every day. This is where you train your mind. The pressure, the doubt, the setbacks, they're all part of the game. But what you do with it, that's the skill.
Today, we're joined by one of the leading voices in sport and performance psychology. Dr. Hacker has spent decades helping athletes train their minds to perform under pressure. She has worked with U.S. national teams across soccer, hockey, lacrosse, served on 6 U.S. Olympic coaching staffs, has helped teams win multiple medals, world championships, and I can't even, it's beyond how great this list is. I'm not going to lie, this is amazing. And it's the U.S. women's national team during its most dominant eras. I was fortunate to listen to one of the podcasts she was on just recently. And the Olympic gold in 1996, World Championships in 1999, Olympic runs, silver 2000, bronze 2003, gold 2004 as a coach, U.S. hockey 2014, Olympic silver medal 2018, gold medal 2022, National Lacrosse Championship team. What? Are you kidding me? So I am blown away. We have so much to learn. I think our listeners are so thankful that you're here. Dr. Hacker, before every episode, we really like to just sort of lean in and just sort of allow our listeners to be able to tag in. And so this idea of tagging in is all of our players, they wear this sort of bag tag that sort of leads them to resources that will hear this conversation and other conversations. And so this idea of tagging in is that we're sort of teammates now. And I know you're all about the positive reinforcement. And so for me, there's a level of humility just reading that. I can only imagine the sensations that may be going as you hear it, as you've probably heard it a ton of times. But I am blown away. I approach this conversation with a ton of humility. I think some accountability as a coach, as a father, and as a mentor, but also some courage, because I think it takes some courage to enter a room with someone with such expertise. So I have so much gratitude that you're here. So I give the floor to you to tag you in as sort of how you want to approach this conversation.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. Yeah, I think the moment that introductions get old or don't have an emotional impact, it's time to get out. So you're very right. It does impact me. It impacts me professionally. It impacts me emotionally. Every time, Keith, I hear you go through those sort of that 30-year, I've been working at elite sport levels for a little over 3 decades. And it sounds like a bumper sticker, but I have the best job in the world. I have the best job in America. That's for sure. I get to work with the world's best performers at what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, what a gift, what a blessing. It doesn't matter the sport. It doesn't matter the surface, the field, the ice, the track, the ballpark, the American football field, just people pursuing excellence in the process.
Yeah.
And I get to accompany them on that journey.
How did you get into the work, Dr. Hacker?
It's sort of lost in history because I've spent 30 years as a certified mental performance coach. The first third, almost half of my career gets dropped off. And I want to take this moment because I think it's been incredibly valuable for me. And that is, I was an intercollegiate coach for 17 years prior to everything that you just said.
Yeah.
There's a lot of folks that go to school, then they go to school again, then they get a degree, and the next thing they're working with you. Have they been out there? There's a ton of former athletes, right? There's a ton of former athletes that get into mental skills training. But have you done the day-to-day, the work, the insecurity, the pressure, the demands, the every year is a different year of coaching. And it sounds like when I hear you say you're a coach, you're a father, you're a mentor, you understand exactly what I'm saying. I'm really proud of, I coached Division I, a majority of the time, Division III, but I was a head coach. And that has informed my practice. I've lived that. I've lived that life. I've occupied that space. I used to joke that I wasn't a soccer coach. Yeah. I was a coach who worked with soccer players. And that might sound like linguistic gymnastics, but I didn't think of soccer first. I thought of people first. Yeah. So I worked with people who played soccer. And I was fortunate, Keith, to coach 5 consecutive intercollegiate teams to a national championship game. I'm the first woman in the United States to coach an intercollegiate national championship team. That history matters to me. The first woman in the United States to coach intercollegiately. And we won 3 national championships. And so it wasn't just paying the dues or, you know, at our level, you know, we finished in the national championship game, winning it 3 times. So that experience informed my mental skills coaching. Yeah. And I think coaches hear that and recognize that. I know athletes respect it. I can speak their language. I've been there. Yep. And I just think that evolution, I think that evolution really matters.
There's so much power in your voice. I have read Achieving Excellence, in addition to just sort of hearing your words and the conviction that comes behind your words. You know, it reminds me of some Chris Saylor, who's the Hall of Fame coach at Princeton, and I remember the amount of times that the idea that the amount of fighting that she had to do to get to where she was and that prominence. And I'm curious, like when you first stepped into this space, how hard was it to jump into it?
This idea of sort of breaking ground, pushing up against the glass ceiling, but always making sure, not my phrase, but make sure you're throwing down a ladder so that other people can climb up. That's been wildly important to me. And I credit my own intercollegiate coach for instilling that in me. Her name's Sharon Taylor. Yeah. To know whose shoulders I stand on, who paved the way for me to have the opportunities that I had. I'm very, very fortunate in my mentors. Yes, coaching matters, but I will tell you, mentorship may be the most valuable partnership in our personal and professional lives.
From your opinion, like what is misunderstood as we connect emotions to performance?
I think a couple of things. Yeah. I think there's a prevailing view that you either have it or you don't. Right. He's competitive. He's not. She's focused. She loses focus. He handles adversity well. She doesn't. Doesn't matter. Mental skills are skills. They're not genetic. It's not blue eyes or brown skin or black hair or brown hair. Mental skills are skills. Yep. The same way we get better at physical skills are the same strategies and techniques that we get better at mental skills. Simple to complex, easy to more difficult. I know you'll know the answer. How long should soccer players be working on the fundamentals of soccer?
Forever.
Correct. Good answer. How long should we be working on mental skills? What do you think the answer is?
Should be forever.
It should be forever. Mm-hmm. So I have written about different people have changed my framework, but it's that same framework. There are 4 pillars plus 1. So it's soccer. Let's talk soccer. But this is in any sport. Yep. 4 pillars plus 1. The technical. We got to pass, shoot, head, control the ball, work on our first touch. It's the skills that make a sport. Technical. Tactical. Are we going to play 3 in the back, 4 in the back? Are we going to play diamond in the middle? Are we going to play 2 up front? Are we going to have a back to pressure? Are we going to have a slash and burn? You know what? It's our team tactics. And that could be all 11, or it could be backs and keeper, midfield. You know, you can, but it's how we want to approach the game. Third pillar, physiological, sleep, hydration, rest, strength training, flexibility, anaerobic training, aerobic training, fueling for success. Fourth pillar, like I like to call it, job security. Yeah. Fourth pillar, mental skills. Things like somatic control. You know, I'm often quoted as saying, you don't want to get rid of the butterflies. You want to teach them to fly in formation.
Yeah. I
love the butterflies. If you could feel my hands right now, truly, they're a little bit cold, which means I care. This matters. Yep. It's not just a conversation in my living room with my new friend Keith. This is a podcast for a club, for an organization. So I have a little bit of nerves. I have a little bit of excitement. This is our little 45-minute game day. You want to have nerves. Yep. It's a sign of excitement. It's a sign of investing. Anyway, can you control, in my world, it's called the autonomic nervous system, but it's the parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system. We can teach athletes to bring that under control. Yep. Confidence, imagery. 97% of Olympians use imagery on a consistent basis. Goal setting, focusing, distraction control, self-talk. I could go on. There's about 13 of sort of the bread and butter. So technical, tactical, physical, psychological. The +1 in our beautiful game is the team.
Absolutely. Yeah. So when you look at the sort of the climate now of sort of youth sports, I obviously, you know, coming up, it was lacrosse, it was soccer, it was basketball, and I was taught so many things by playing multiple sports. And now with this, you know what I mean? Now with this hyper focus on multiple training sessions and then another training session, even to the point where some athletes that I see that are playing so many games over a period of time, how are they able to discern between even valuing competition the way that it once was valued? So I may have had practice twice a week. I wouldn't say that I was not elite by not practicing multiple times. How is that affecting sort of our overall culture or the emotional culture of our athletes today?
Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head, Keith. It has shifted. I've been at this a long time and it has shifted. Let me start with facts, and then I'll go backwards with different types of facts. The American Academy of Pediatrics, not sports specific, no skin in the game financially, entrepreneur wise. The American Academy of Pediatrics, their job is to ensure the health and well-being of American children. Full stop. And the American Academy of Pediatrics has put out multiple position statements arguing against single sport competition. End of story. Full mic drop. When I say play multiple sports, then people are like, I can't even barely get my kids to soccer every week. How am I supposed to? Yeah, nobody's saying that. It's saying play soccer for a couple months, play basketball for a couple months, rest for a month, swim for 2 months, climb trees, go on hikes, kayak, take yoga, dance. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We need motoric competence. Motor is the root word. We need competence. I tell this story because it's true. It happened to me and it really made an impact. At the Olympic Games in Beijing, I had the good fortune of working out at the fitness center with Kobe Bryant. However young or old you are, I'll just say Kobe Bryant arguably is one of the greatest NBA players
I would agree.
in history. And the whole gym cleared out. And because we'd connected, he goes, she can stay. And I'm like, yes, she can stay. I'll take that as a win. So I'm just working out. I'm like, head down. Don't mess up this opportunity to work out with this guy. Long story short, we struck up a conversation. From his mouth to my ears, he said, you know, he grew up in Italy. He goes, I grew up playing soccer. I grew up playing football. And he was good.
Yep.
That guy would have been good at whatever he pursued, but he was good.
Yep.
That was his original love, was soccer.
Yep.
And when he was an NBA great, he actually he didn't hire an NBA guy, didn't even hire a basketball guy. He told me he hired a soccer fitness person because he thought that soccer fitness, footwork, anticipation, change of direction, body mechanics would help him in basketball. I believe in the last year or two, more than 95% of the NFL first round draft picks played multiple sports. This is not somebody's opinion. From medical doctors and American Academy to proof is in the pudding, get that exposure.
Yep.
This overuse injury, the burnout, the repetitiveness to only single sport knowledge, I think is holding us all back. That's my personal opinion. I think it's holding us all back, leaders and participants.
This podcast is powered by Head First, a program of the Philadelphia Union Foundation, has built a free toolkit at myheadfirst.org with worksheets, guides, videos, and resources designed for athletes, parents, and coaches navigating the mental side of the sport. And if you want something tangible, something your athlete can carry with them to every practice and every game, request a Head First bag tag. It's a free luggage-style tag that attaches to any soccer bag and links directly to myheadfirst.org through a QR code. It's a symbol, a reminder, and a connector, all in one. Request yours at myheadfirst.org. Coaches and clubs, reach out to us directly, and we'll send a full package for your entire team.
How are you helping today's athlete now? So, I mean, you have such you are creating history even as we speak. And that,
thank you.
And that I do believe is incredibly powerful. I am always, being where I'm at in my own career, I always want to know if what I'm saying is actually working and landing on today's athletes. And so that athlete comes and walks into your space, or into your presence. How are you supporting that athlete today? How are you supporting that parent today?
Yeah, I mean, I hope multiple ways. I'm hearing your question. There's how do I meet athletes? Like I do one-on-one. Right now, in fact, I don't plan on rejoining a staff again. I did that for 30 years. Sure. So right now for me, it's all about individual clients. So there's a different answer to how do I approach individual athletes? Like I have a client from the South, you can't name drop. And so I'm just going to try to tell you and listeners as much as I can. I have a teenage female client from the South who has been a consistent member of the youth national teams. So how do I approach my one-on-one mental skills coaching with her, for example? That's one set of answers. What am I doing professionally to make a difference? I hope my answer is, and I'm going to try to give you some examples, my entire professional career has been devoted to that. Yeah. I speak at national and international conferences. I just did 2 sessions in Philadelphia at the United Soccer Coaches. I am a guest on podcasts. I educate coaches and leaders. Yep. And you start hearing them repeat the facts, repeat the data, use the language, learn. So I educate by speaking, both nationally and internationally. Tuesday this past week, Wednesday, I spoke at She Believes Summit, US Soccer's and Deloitte's partnership here in Seattle. 750 participants, 1,000 more participated online. So I'm trying to make myself available in public educational forums, for lack of a better way to say it. I publish research. I have 2 new book chapters coming out in the top graduate textbook in sports psychology. So that helps train future sports psychologists and mental skills coaches. So I speak, I write, I publish. I hope that's making a difference. And I've done that for decades, and I'll continue to do that. This is something that is meaningful to me. And I hope it says to listeners, I hope it's taken in the spirit in which I'm offering it. I am, this June in 2026, it will be year 32.
Wow.
There's not a lot of things that have been around 32 years. It'll be year 32 of Colleen Hacker's Success Soccer Camp. 32 years of a youth sport camp for kids ages 6 to 17. So we break them obviously by age groups and ability. And I have a staff of 18. We have a smaller than 1 to 10 ratio of staff to players. It's not I love it. I love it. I'm super proud of it. Yep. But this isn't like your hardcore college, soccer camp, and I'm going to have coaches sitting on little lawn chairs all around the field identify. This is like an up with children. Yep. And up with kids with soccer balls. Yep. It's about health, teammate, vitality, the joy of soccer, the fun of soccer, the teamwork of soccer. Do mental skills training, but they don't know they're getting mental skills.
Yeah, I get that.
That's meaningful to me. Yeah. I have flown home from the Olympic Games just to not miss a week. I have flown home, in fact, from the World Cup. Who flies home from the World Cup to be at a little kids camp? This kid, that's how much youth sport means to me. Yeah. It's in my DNA. So I hope I'm making a difference across domains, across environments. Yeah. This has been my life's long passion, is coaching education, athlete education. I used to be a member of it was out of University of Rhode Island, the International Parent Education Network. So parents, athletes, leaders. Yeah. And I hope I'll do it until there's no more breath in me. Yeah,
that's powerful. I'm thankful for those words. I think that, and this sort of jumps into catch them being good.
Thank you. There's no student I've had way before Tony and I published the book with that title. Yeah. For 15 years prior to that, that's what I used to say to my undergraduate students. When you're caught, how are you usually caught? Doing something wrong, doing something bad. Let's catch them being good. Mm-hmm. When you point out what was done right, what was seen, that was what needed to be seen, what words were said that were the right words at the right time. When we catch our children, when we catch our staff, when we catch our players being good, we reward what we want to continue, and we're teaching everyone who can hear it what to do. Yeah. And I used to joke, like, You don't want me on your golf team, but I know a bad golfer when I see one. You might not want me on your baseball team, but I know a bad baseball player when I see one. The reason I'm using that as an example is pointing out what's wrong requires no expertise. I'm dumber than a box of hammers in a million different sports, but I know a bad one when I see one.
Right.
Can you point out what was right, what was good, what was desirable, what was repeatable, what was a productive choice that somebody made? That takes leadership skill.
Yeah.
So I actually want to push leaders. Pointing out what's wrong, dime a dozen. Dime a dozen. Can you catch them being good? And be very specific about that.
I think it's incredible that you highlight that from a player perspective. How needed is it for coaches to receive that as well?
Powerful. I'm gonna sort of end or segue on a very tangible example. And I know in youth sport it may not be done that much, but in my world it is. The dreaded game film session after the games. The dreaded game. Okay, here's a clip. You see this opening over here? We didn't use it. You see this? We didn't have support in the box. Players dread, if they're being honest. Oh, I love it. I want the feedback. I'm not talking about what they say. I know if I'm going to watch post-game film, it's going to be everything I did wrong. We need to show game film and say things like, what were you thinking that allowed you to handle the pressure and still see this opening run out there on the flank? What allowed you? I saw you sort of tense up like you were just going to instep nail that ball. And then I saw just a brief breath. And then you just place that ball in the lower right-hand corner. Just a nice little slip shot on goal rather than master blast. Like, to point out, what were you thinking? What were you feeling? What were you seeing? How were you able to make that decision?
Yeah.
What allowed you to handle that kind of pressure in your back third? Let's talk about all the development and awareness that you got right. Wow.
Yeah. I can tell you, Dr. Hacker, if people are not going through a wall right now, then, I think we need to check their pulse.
Thank you.
I'll be honest with you. There are probably 20 other prompts and questions that I would love to have. It'd be amazing to try to do some sort of a part 2. There's so much in your tank. And from your personal story, how you got there, and even through this screen, I think it's so. I don't think there's enough words that will really honor who you are and what you represent to sport.
Thank you.
Period. And so I'm beyond thankful. That's sort of how I will tag out, because no different than you. Every time I do these things. I honor my butterflies, the sort of the uncertainty, but I cannot thank you enough. And I assure you that if there's a way to get a part 2, that every listener on this call is incredibly fortunate to have heard your words.
Well, thank you. It matters. I care deeply about what I do. I care deeply. I will tag out using, I love that, by the way. I think that's like, hang on to that little diamond of excellence. I'll tag out with this. A waterfall begins with a single drop of water, and look at what comes from that. So there's no investment that any of us make that is too small.
Yeah.
Because as those water drops accumulate, they become stunning, powerful waterfalls. And each of our lives can be that drop that starts it. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hacker.
Everything we talked about today is educational, not professional mental health advice. If you or someone you know needs real support right now, call or text 988. That's the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, free and available 24/7.